Oh, yay! I love seeing that little live button.
Okay, very cool. We are live.
How
We
exciting!
have a
So,
few
all
minutes.
right, we have just a few minutes before it starts, but we want to make sure everybody can see us and hear us. So, if you can, leave us a comment. Let us know. All right. Very excited. Let's pull this up.
Okay.
All right. All right. So I know we have some people tuning in from the Hive 44 and lots of people all over the place. So it's going to be a really fun chat.
Yes.
So let's see here. Can everybody see us and hear us? We're going to get started in just a few minutes, but we want to get any technical issues out of the way before we get going.
Stephanie, see the thing that I'm trying to figure out is on the bottom, it does say for me, like I can see it, and it says 0 viewers. So that's the one piece that I need to try to figure out.
Okay,
Oh,
so
I do see 1 viewer now. Okay.
okay, we have somebody who tuned in. That's awesome. All right, so I think what needs to happen now is people that have gotten to the Hangout screen, like I pulled it back up myself, the event page, and it says live there now, where we had our teaser video.
Very
They just
cool.
hit play. We are on air. Just so. All right. Very cool. Very excited.
So if you are joining us and you are on our call, we would love for you just to let us know that you're here in the chat box. If you would just type us what your name is and tell us what it is that you do, we would love that. It's just kind of a sort of roll call as we get ready to get started here in just a couple of minutes. We see that people are slowly starting to come in on the call. And I'm not sure what the weather's like where you live today, but we're glad that you all are here today. We're going to get started here probably in about 2 to 3 minutes. But like I said, welcome to everyone that came in today. If you would just give us a post there in the chat box, tell us what it is that you do for your small business.
So I can see that Brittany Burton, I know a realtor out in Chicago, she has commented and said that she can hear us and see us. So thank you, Brittany.
Very cool, very cool. Good stuff. I am ready to go.
All right.
So for those of you who maybe had seen on some of our social media postings, we are excited because this is our very first Google Hangout. And Google Hangouts are fun and they're so powerful, and you can use them too for your business. But it's just a great tool to just connect with other people, with other businesses, and just have like this platform that's absolutely free and doesn't cost anything. So again, if you're just joining us in on the call, we're so glad that you're here today on this Wednesday. And if you would, in the chat box, tell us what it is that your small business is, okay? You know what's interesting, Stephanie? In the chat, I can't see the comments.
That is a very real thing. I was just noticing that myself. To see, because I can see where people are commenting directly on the event page, which is very cool. But I'm not seeing the comments come through in that chat box that we can see from our dashboard. So I am not sure like how we can get people into that chat box. So I think what we're going to have to do is kind of just comment on the event page. So might be on our task list for the next one.
Very cool. Okay.
So I've got that popped open just so I can keep tabs on the comments from everyone. All right. So I do want to say a quick hi to everybody at High 44 who's tuning in out in Fenton, Missouri. So I know there's a couple of people out there, so I really appreciate you guys tuning in, and I hope you're going to get a lot of value from the things that Heather and I are going to discuss about finding customers through social media. And ultimately, we're going to talk about a couple different networks and specific examples on how to find people, and then, how do you get from social media to the sale at the end of the day. So we're going to go into all those details, so there'll be lots of value for you on this call.
Yeah, very cool. Well, what we're going to do is go ahead and get started, just to dive right in to let everybody know that you're here today on our free Google Hangout, which is basically called 4 Ways to Grow Your Business Using Social Media. So whether you are just starting out or you have 50 employees, ultimately you're here because you value social media. And in the world of social media, there's tons of stuff to cover. But what we are doing today is not coming to overwhelm you with crazy tons and tons, but to just basically give you a handful of nugget tips and ideas that have worked for us. So before we get started, just to kind of give you a highlight of that's what we're going to be covering, we want to just go over a couple quick housekeeping tips for everyone. We would love for you, if you have your browsers open and if you are being social on this call or on this hangout, we would love for you to use our hashtag for this event, which is customers on social. So that would be fantastic. You can use it on Google+, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. But if you want to take a screenshot while we are actually on the Google Hangout, that would be fantastic for you to post, for example, on Instagram and use our actual hashtag, customers on social. Or if there's a tip or a nugget or anything that we say, that's something that you might want to quote or that you're inspired by, we would love for you to use that and post it on social media. And we are going to go find it, and we may actually highlight and spotlight you on some of our business pages. Does that sound cool? Are you gonna actually be tweeting any, Stephanie, during the call?
I am monitoring that hashtag customers on social on Twitter. I got my Twitter box up so I can interact with anybody who starts tweeting while we're talking. But definitely going to be keeping up with that. I think I'm going to be commenting more on the event page here on Google Plus so that we can get everybody involved.
Okay.
We definitely need you to find value throughout it. But I am monitoring Twitter. I've got my box up over here.
Okay, very cool. So just so I understand, Stephanie, you are able to see the comments that everyone is making, correct?
I am seeing the comments on the event page, yes. So
okay, that's perfect. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to just dive right in, and we're going to just ask if you have just joined, because I can see that a couple more people have come in on the Hangout. Make sure that you post and tell us in the chat box what it is that you do for your business. That'll just kind of help us throughout the call or throughout the Hangout, just kind of be able to know who you are and kind of what you actually are doing. And we want to make sure that everyone stays on till the end of the call, of the Hangout, because we have some special opportunities for you that are only going to be shared with those folks that are on the Hangout today. So what we're going to do is just dive right in, and I'm going to just do an intro on Stephanie, and then Stephanie will do a little intro on me. Stephanie Nissen is a social media manager, marketing consultant, speaker, and blogger, and quite a few more things at her company, which is called Nissen Media LLC. Stephanie lives in Missouri, so shout out to everyone watching in Missouri. She works primarily with small and local businesses, getting them online, then learning how to leverage social media and helping them grow. So Stephanie, thank you so much for being a part of this Hangout today.
So thank you very much for that great introduction, and I definitely want to give our viewers some insight into Heather. So Heather Heuman is the founder of Sweet Tea Social Marketing, and she is out in South Carolina, over on the East Coast there, and she is a marketing consultant, a blogger, and a speaker for social media management, helping clients across the United States, really from coast to coast. Heather loves helping her clients grow their business via social media platforms, and wants to really help them focus on their day-to-day operations so that they can take care of the business side and she can take care of that social media monster for you. she says it, and her great tagline is social media made simple with a twist and splash. So definitely thrilled that I get to partner with Heather on this call because she's got a wealth of knowledge, and I've met her in person. That's how we got connected, and just really excited about working with her and collaborating with her. So we got lots of good stuff for this call.
Very good. Well, thank you, Stephanie. Okay, so everyone, tip number 1, finding customers on social media. What we're going to do is Stephanie is going to talk to us first, and she is going to talk to us about Twitter. If you're not using Twitter, just listen up and see how she has been able to grow her platform and use it to not just be out there, not just making noise, but actually find clients, find customers. So, Stephanie, go ahead and just dive in and talk to us a little bit about that.
Absolutely. So Twitter is one of those social media platforms that a lot of people tend to shy away from because they seem to think that it's all like teenagers and kids just venting about things that they did today. But really, it's a huge business platform. And personally, I can tell you that I went from using it as a personal user, saying things like, I went out to lunch today and here's a picture of my food, like any other social media user, and really switching my entire view of how to use the platform last year. I was reaching maybe 37,000 impressions or so on Twitter, and now I'm reaching almost 3 million people using Twitter in just a couple of months, just by really changing my viewpoint and not getting sucked into the myths of what Twitter is. So for me, finding a customer using Twitter, and it really comes down to the amazing search feature for Twitter. You can use that search feature on Twitter to target people down to the location. So let's say I am a realtor in Chicago. So I know I have some people tuning in from Chicago who are realtors, so hello to you. I want to make this as valuable as possible, so I'm going to use your business as an example. If you want us to kind of tailor it around what you do, make sure you comment in that chat box, okay? So for Twitter, I'm a real estate agent and I want to find new potential clients. So I'm going to use that search feature and find people through that. But I'm not going to search for people asking about a realtor. I'm going to search for the people who are talking about moving to Chicago. Because people aren't using social media to find you, they're using it to talk about their problems. You need to be the solution, but they don't know that they need you. They don't know that you're out there unless you reach out and really use the social aspect of social media. So the great thing about Twitter, we go into their advanced search feature, and just by going to here, I wrote down that text here. So we're going to twitter.com/search-advanced. Okay, and when you get to that page, you can put in the exact words you want to find. You can remove words from the search. You can target it down to the city of people you want to find. But again, going back to that realtor, I'm going to search for the words, let's say moving to Chicago, and then hit search. And now it's going to bring up every single tweet that's public that had somebody talking about moving to Chicago. So you kind of weed through it from there and find the person who's talking about, you know, I'm getting ready to move to Chicago, or I'm very excited about my move to Chicago, those kind of things. But now, once you find that person, that's a potential client. So now I've found them. We need to interject yourself into that conversation that they're having. Twitter is a public forum, but you don't want to interject with sales. So you say, I'm moving to Chicago, and now I have a bunch of realtors who say, let me find you a house. You know, I'm going to ignore you because it's all sales. So social media really comes back to content. So what I want you to interject with is value into that conversation. So if I say, I find a person that says, I'm moving to Chicago, so I tweet them back and I say, that's great. What neighborhood are you moving to? So, and then they're more inclined to say, you know, I'm moving to Bucktown, or I'm moving to Logan Square in Chicago. Okay, now I'm going to say, oh, Logan Square, you have to go to Revolution Brewing. It's a great restaurant out there. I've added value to the conversation, you know, and it's something that they're more inclined to keep that conversation going because it's a relationship aspect and they don't feel like it's a hard sell. The hard sell does not work on social media. It's all about the content and the value that you can really bring to the conversation. So For me, I've absolutely used this to great success personally. I searched for people who were talking about, I need a social media manager. Found tons of people talking about that because there are people who don't know how to handle this big social media monster. So I found them, tweeted them back saying, what are you having issues with? And they tweet me back their problem, and I answer the question. I'm not saying, well, you can buy my package for this and this and this, or you can hire me to do that. No, I'm going to give them the answer, so they can do it themselves. This is a very DIY generation of people that we're working with. So I definitely want to make sure that I'm providing the value. And that has worked for me. So I keep that conversation going, I add the value to the conversation, and now I become their go-to person. I become that person that they trust, that I'm authentic, I'm real, and they know they're going to get some help from me. And now they refer their friends to me, like, oh, you have a question? Go talk to Stephanie. She's got the answer, and then we move them down the funnel, and it goes down to, just that conversation, the relationship, and then we work towards ultimately the sale. And a lot of them do buy something from me, which is what I want. It all comes back to that. That's why you're on the call. How do we get from the social media to the sale? So that's what I've really had success with on Twitter. Use that advanced search feature. Target it down. If you only work in St. Peters, Missouri, okay, target it down to St. Peters, Missouri. Find the people that are there. So that's my biggest tip, really, is Twitter and using the search feature. Absolutely the best thing.
And the thing, like, you and I are kind of working with like a business to a business. So you and I, and for those people who may not be familiar with that term, you may go to networking events and you'll hear people say like B2B, which is business to business. But this is just as powerful or fantastic for B2C, which is business to consumer. So no matter which of those platforms is a good fit for you, these social platforms can absolutely work for you too. For those of you who are on Twitter, in the chat box where you guys are making comments, what we would love for you to do is to have a chance for this to be almost like a networking opportunity. It's not about going and just getting random followers on Twitter. You want to have an engaged, targeted audience. So some of your followers are going to be directly interested in your industry of what your services are. So if you sell Norwex and you sell cloths, well, you're going to want to be connected with people that are going to be cleaning, which, hello, is almost everybody in America, I'm hoping. But you're also going to want to connect with other consultants, people who live in Washington State who do what you do. So you want to connect with peers or other small business owners. So for right now, anyone who's on this call or on this hangout that is on Twitter, we'd like for you right now post your Twitter handle, and then you'll have an opportunity to go add those people and to follow one another and just take the connections from this hangout beyond this hangout, and that's what we want to encourage, is just the actual relationships. I'm going to just kind of focus in. My tip that I'm going to share with everybody is on Instagram. So those of you that are just coming in on the Hangout, because I see that we have some more viewers, we're talking to you about tips for using social media to find customers. So I'm going to share with you about Instagram. I have two businesses, one that is specific to a city in Kentucky called ElizabethtownFamily.com, talking about finding events, things to do, places to go, businesses to shop at, but it's all very central to that one town. Well, then I have my Sweet Tea social marketing business where I help people that are all across the country. So I have been able to use Instagram as a great visual platform to connect with people as well as ultimate potential customers. And here's a tip for you real quick on Instagram. Instagram followers are 58 times more likely to like, comment, or share about a brand's post than Facebook users. And it's 120 times more likely than Twitter users. So Instagram is real. I talk to different business owners. I've gone to various chamber events. And a lot of times people give Instagram the reputation of they think it is just the millennials, or they think it is just teenagers. And I will be honest and tell you that those folks are on Instagram and they are rocking it, but there are all types of people, and Instagram, I think, is here regarding where it's growing. Now, Instagram is owned by Facebook, for those of you who don't know, but Instagram is a fantastic because you can, in a very visual way, spotlight your business. So my tips for Instagram, your bio absolutely needs to include what you do. It needs to be compelling. If you are a donut maker, you want to make sure that you rock out in that little brief bio section that you make the best homemade, from scratch donuts, assuming that's true. You have a special of the day. You have a free donut for people on their birthday. Sign up for your e-newsletter list. The little glimpse of information you want to share in a little nugget needs to be in your bio. And if you are in a city and you are targeting that location, so you make pizzas and you are a mom and pop shop, or you are trying to service clients in one city, then you want to make sure in that bio it says where you live. I see so often on Twitter and on Facebook and on Pinterest, and you'll go even to their About section, like diving in more, and I can't tell where they live, but yet they make gourmet cupcakes. Well, I need to be able, as a consumer, need to know how to connect with you, or if you are in my town, I'm going to much more likely be interested in following you on Instagram. Instagram also is so powerful to really be able to post that photo of, your pizza flavor of the day, or here's this special. And the thing about Instagram, if you're not on it, the thing that I find it to be less overwhelming is that you just need to be consistent with your posting. Posting one time a day would be great. And then you can build up on that, and then maybe you will get to 2 postings a day. Maybe you post at 10 a.m. and maybe you post at 7 p.m. And you can go in and kind of see when your postings have the best likes and the best engagement. But on all of the social platforms, for those of you that are just, you're like, I've got my Facebook page and I'm posting pictures of my son Johnny and I know what I'm doing. The tip I want to make sure you know, no matter the platform, is it cannot be, every post cannot be about, here's what I've got, here's my offer, buy this from me, call me to schedule an appointment, because people will just say, I don't want to hear that noise. I don't want to be inundated with everything about what your brand is, because yes, we're just going to assume at this point that you do what you have, you sell it, and you're great at it. But there's more to you, and there's more to your business than the cupcake, than the donut, than the child care facility that you have. What inspires you? Post a photo of a graphic that is funny, that is humorous. A photo, have a employee of the week or a fan of the week, and post their picture. Make your postings on Instagram be a good representation of the whole piece to your business. And then the geo tag on Instagram is basically a spot, if you were a business and this is where your little putt-putt business was located, you can sit there and right there type in, 700 Main Street, Washington State, in the zip, and you can actually put that in, so when you do your tag and someone sees a picture of kids playing putt-putt and they're in your same city, well, they'll know exactly where you're located, which is fantastic. But if you're like me and you don't necessarily have a brick and mortar, that little section, which is where you can put your physical location, you could also put like a call to action. So what I'll often say in that little spot, and I'll say link is in the bio or RSVP in the bio, and it just kind of stands out on your Instagram post, and it lets people go, oh, I need to look up there at the bio. So then if you do have more information in the bio of, hey, sign up for my e-newsletter, or I do have a special every Monday, whatever it is that you want to use as great leverage to get people to connect with you, use that in the bio and use that geotag. So those are just some Instagram tips, but don't get overwhelmed with Instagram and think that you need to be posting 10 postings a day, because that's not the case. If you post once, that's good. If you post twice a day, that's excellent. And if you can be consistent, with when you post, then you will slowly build an audience that know to be on the lookout for your actual post that you put out there. So that's kind of like my focus on Instagram. Stephanie, have you found Instagram to be helpful for you and for your business?
Absolutely. So for me to have a customer, whether they find me or I find them, Instagram is such a visual platform, and that's what we all, it catches your eye. You're more inclined to interact with a post that has a great image or really a video. 9 times out of 10, video wins every time. So for me, Instagram comes back to the authenticity. So it's very transparent. With social media, it is so transparent that if you say you are something or say you do something, if you claim to be the best pizza place in Washington State or you claim to be the best insurance agent in Fenton, then be that person. So, because once we take that conversation from social media offline, it's going to be very apparent if you were not authentic. If you are not real, are you who you say you are online? There's you can add a filter to an image, on Instagram they've got 20 plus filters, but once you get offline, there's no filters anymore. It's all out in the open. So be authentic, be the real person, because that's who we connect with. We connect with people more so than we connect with their product or their company. You need to remind that person that there's a person behind the keyboard back here. So if you go to, to Twitter or you go to Instagram, it's my profile picture, and you can see it right down there in the corner. That's me, and I'm exactly who I say I am. So there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So for me, Instagram has been wonderful for that, and it's actually one of the fastest growing platforms around for social media. So if it's not one that you jumped on for your business to find customers, it's one you absolutely need to do. I gain more than 50 followers a week on Instagram, and so do most of my clients, and that's in varying industries. So Instagram is something that works for every single industry. You can make this work. So I highly recommend it. So if you have questions about Instagram and all those kind of things, make sure you're posting them onto the event page, and we'll try to answer some questions towards the end. And the same with Twitter. If you have questions, absolutely post them, and we'll definitely try to hit as many as we can at the end.
Okay, I just want to do a quick shout out here. We've got Mary Scott with the Women-Owned Business, who she did a tweet that says, "Customers on social, Nissen Media rocks." So thank you so much, Mary, for that shout out. And Dr. Finch also did a tweet that says, "Listening to 4 ways to find customers using social media." And so thank you so much. So we are looking, guys, so we would love for you to use our hashtag customers on social. And you can use it on any platform: Facebook, Google+, Instagram, Twitter. And if I forgot to say it, it's just because I'm like going, which one did I leave out? But we would love to be looking for that, and we are going to be following that hashtag after this call, so feel free to do that. So if you're on Instagram right now, here's an opportunity for you to get great, genuine, targeted followers of other small business owners. Post your Instagram handle, and then this will be an opportunity for you to connect with every single one of those people. That's another cool perk to being on a live Google Hangout versus just watching them on YouTube. I have 3 kids, ages 4, 6, and 10, so I completely understand watching awesome YouTube videos on great content at 1 o'clock in the morning. But there are some cool perks, because by the time this is over, everyone should have some new Twitter followers, some new Instagram followers, and more tips that are just real. And the thing that I was sharing with Stephanie is it's so easy to go to a conference or feel that everyone has like a 6-figure salary or they have an assistant. I don't have an assistant. I work by myself. Stephanie works by herself. I've been able to take a business in Kentucky that had nothing and grown it to nearly 7,000 Facebook followers, and it's a growing, thriving business where I'm actually making money. So it's like there are opportunities, and social media is way, way, way more than just saying I just had this amazing chicken chimichanga. So that kind of leads us into our next thing here. Before we go into tip number 3, Stephanie, are you seeing any questions that have come in from anybody?
I'm not seeing any questions yet, so I'm going to take that as a positive, though, that we're
Okay.
covering as much as possible and we're not leaving anybody hanging. So, but definitely, if anybody has any questions, make sure you add them in there.
Okay, great. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to move into tip number 3 and number 4. We're going to be able to save any questions that we might get towards the end. So we'll go ahead and just move on now. So Stephanie, we're going to let you share with us one tip that has worked for you in securing an appointment with a new client.
Okay, so for me, when I'm securing that client, so I've found them, let's say, on Twitter, I found them on LinkedIn, because my profile was authentic, because I reached out to them and added value. Now, what do? I'm in this relationship spot, and how do I move them to the next spot from taking them from relationship to customer? So for me, what works 90+% of the time is take your relationship with that person offline. Okay? Yes, we're using social media to find people, but really, like I was mentioning earlier, it comes back to people. It comes back to trust and authenticity. So take your conversation offline. People want to see that you actually are a real person. And I actually get this a lot where you look exactly like your profile picture. Well, great. That's what it's for. There's no, like I was mentioning earlier, no filter. I'm exactly who I say I am. So when I get to meet with someone and I find them, let's say they found me on Instagram, or I find them through Facebook, by connecting with other profiles and commenting on people that have a similar target audience than I do. Now we go to, hey, I'd love to meet with you at your office, or let's go grab a coffee. So, and it doesn't have to be something that, we're going to sit there and I'm going to give you my pitch and everything. I just actually did this the other day with actually Mary Scott, who's on the call. Her and I met for coffee, and we got to chat. I got to learn a little bit more about her business. She learned a little bit more about me, and now I have this connection that maybe she may not become a client of mine, and I may not become a client of hers, but we've taken that relationship offline, and it happened right away with her, that she benefited my business right away because I got an email from someone later that day who said, I just talked to Mary, and she mentioned you to me. She referred you to me within a couple of hours. That had a direct impact on me. The person she referred me to was someone that I already work with, which was great and everything, but that just shows that connection, that we took it from online to offline, and it's continuing to make an impact on me. So for me, like I said, just take it offline, connect with the person. They're searching for their problems, not for you. So just show them that you can help them. So that's my big thing. Yes, it's an online virtual world, but offline marketing still works.
Very good, very cool. And that kind of relates to my tip. So this is tip number 4, is being able to take the relationship, kind of going in the direction of what you were saying, but not making it about everything about me, but making it about them. So true story, I have a new client that is turned into a $13,000 client that all started by me reaching out to somebody on LinkedIn. I simply saw someone who was making YouTube videos that I was impressed with, that I liked just how she carried herself, I liked the energy, and I literally reached out to her and said, hey, I like what you're doing, and I am actually kind of right in the middle of restructuring and starting out my branding. I would love to talk to you. Do you have 15 minutes where we could connect? So I reached out to her. Of course, she feels great. I'm saying, hey, I love what you're doing. Could you just kind of give me a little bit of a glimpse on what you do? So we just talked, and it was great. We networked, we connected. So what did I do? I followed up. So this tip is to follow up with people, because if we had just had that great conversation, which it went well and it was encouraging and I learned a little bit more about her, that was great. But I think that the opportunity here was that I followed up and I came back and I said, hey, how are things going this week? It was really great talking to you last week. And so I just kind of put her on my radar. So I just reached out to her every 2 weeks. I actually put a reminder on my Google Calendar that said reach out to this person and shoot her a text, shoot her a Facebook message, shoot her a Skype, not all of those things, but I was reaching out to her in various platforms. I'm doing social, she's doing social. I'm showing her that I am social, obviously, by using those tools. And what happened was a couple days later, after we had maybe interacted maybe 3 times, so this is over the course of about a month and a half, I get an email from her that says, hey, I was thinking that we could potentially, I may have a client that you might be interested in. So she sent it to me. Now here's the real part of what I'm about to say. I was transparent and I was honest. She sent me something that had to do with me creating like this custom financial report and documentation for this hat company. And I looked at it and I was processing it and I said, you know what? One, this is not my forte. This is not my specialty. And I do have some skill sets, but I'm going to let this lady know right now within like 24 hours that I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you so much for thinking about me. But this right now, what you've sent me is not what I really feel is like my niche. My niche is helping small businesses using social media and marketing. And the request of what she was asking me was not necessarily focused solely on marketing. It was a little bit more on some really in-depth financial type stuff. So long story short, she wrote me back. I promise this does have a good ending. But she wrote me back and she said, thank you so much for just being honest, straight to the point, and letting me know I will be back in touch with you again. So fast forward about 3 weeks later, after I just kind of maybe reached out to her once again, she sent me another message and said, hey, I've got a client that is looking for another me. And she said, I don't have any more of me to go around. And so they asked if I knew anybody like me, and you came to mind. Are you interested? Because if so, I've got a lead for you for a job opportunity. So I said, yes, that sounds great. It was perfect. It was right in my alley of exactly what I love to do with content management and social media marketing. And I had an interview, I had an opportunity, and now I've got that company on a retainer doing social media management for them and love it. And they're a fantastic client. So follow up with people, do what you're going to do, and exceed their expectations. And then just be honest and be transparent. I could have said, oh, I can do this, or done the first job, or maybe I would have done a poor job, or maybe I could have taken 2 weeks to finally let her know, but that's not respecting her. I put myself in her shoes, and I was like, if I ask somebody to do something, I would much rather them tell me right away that that's not their thing, so I can move on and either get a different opportunity. So it really worked out well, and here I currently have a fantastic client that all just started for me using social media, particularly LinkedIn, and reaching out to somebody. So just being honest and following up with people. And if you feel that the tip I just shared is maybe more so for a business to business, absolutely not the case. If you are a pizza shop or a gymnastics business where you want girls to know that you've got a camp coming up for summer camp, you can use social media to get out there and to follow those conversations. And you can follow who's going to be looking for gymnastics. So you're going to be talking about moms, maybe moms with teens, moms with tweens, preschoolers even. And you can find those conversations. And again, you don't just jump right in with saying, we have a camp coming up for spring break. Do you want to sign up? Here's the link. That would not be my very first attempt. But you can, if they're having a conversation, and the cool thing about Instagram and Twitter, Facebook is a lot more limited. People have their privacy settings pretty high, and they want to see who they want to see in their news feed. And so you do have to be a little more strategic on Facebook, but it still is absolutely powerful. But a lot of people on Instagram, on Twitter, they've got their privacy settings open. So when you do these searches, like that Stephanie was talking about, or following certain hashtags, like if you live in a city, look for the hashtag of that city, and you can follow the hashtag of gymnastics in North Dakota. You can follow these hashtags and become a part of the conversation naturally. And then they may prompt back with oh, this is cool. I didn't know you guys existed here in our community. And then it can kind of become a dialogue. Stephanie, the big difference, I think, for a lot of traditional people and maybe a business who they're like, I'm really business savvy, I know what I'm doing, I know how to market, but the difference with social media, it's not a one-way street. It's not you saying, here, I'm awesome, here's my cookie of the day, here's everything about me. It's about being social and having that relationship go two ways. So you have to be listening, and by listening and being out there on social media shows that you truly are really wanting to be there and be authentic, and you can use that as power to grow your business.
Absolutely. You're right on it. So I see that we had a couple of questions come in, so I definitely want to address a few of those. I see that we had a question from the wellness company over at High 44, and it says, how often do you recommend a company to change their profile picture on social media platforms? So for me, and Heather, absolutely pipe in on this right after with your opinion, but for me, I say the profile picture is the one that I don't recommend changing. So get it set. Pick either your logo and a high quality resolution or a great headshot that shows your smiling face, and keep it the same. Use the same image from Facebook to Twitter to Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube. Use the same one, because that's something that's instantly recognizable, so that if I say, hey, come connect with me on LinkedIn, it's the same picture you see from Google+. So it's an instant connection. So profile picture, I say don't change. Cover photo, on the other hand, change it as much as you want. I have some clients, a realtor, we change it every single week, and we highlight one of the properties, that great shot of the front yard with a beautiful exterior, and we highlight a different one every week. I have another client that she does a lot of events, so we change it up every 6 weeks to 2 months, depending on what event we're trying to create a little buzz on. So cover photo change, profile picture, keep it the same.
Yeah,
Heather, what do you want on that?
To kind of piggyback on what you were saying, what's really, really important is that all of your profile photos need to match. You may have an awesome picture of yourself at a conference and an awesome headshot of you in a purple shirt and an awesome picture of you in a yellow shirt, but I really highly recommend that your profile photo needs to be the exact same picture across all of your social platforms. Because, I cannot tell you how many times that I'm like, oh, this person's awesome, and I'm following them on Twitter. Well, then what I'll do is I'll say, I want to know where else they are. I'm going to look for them. And then this little box pops up like this big, and you're looking at it really small, but it's like it's a girl with like lots of hair. Well, it's not this picture, and you're almost like looking at all of the Sarah Smiths going, which Sarah Smith is she? No, certainly if you got a name and you're the only person out there on social media who has any name that looks like that, well, maybe you won't have that problem. But it is so, so valuable. Make it easy for people to be like, oh, here's her Instagram picture. It's the exact same one on Twitter. Be consistent. And if you do go, okay, well, I just cut off 19 inches of my hair and I don't look the same, well, that's fine. Get yourself a new photo, and then even do a couple tweets about, hey, I'm so excited I just donated 10 inches of my hair to Locks of Love. And you can spotlight that you got the haircut and then change out the profile photo, but have them all be consistent. Great question.
Absolutely. And here's another question that we got from Mary Scott. She said, what age group uses Instagram the most? So based on one of the more recent reports, I did find Instagram is users typically under the age of 34. That's the biggest group, and really it comes back to the teenage group. On a recent study, I believe it said that 80% of teenagers say that Instagram is the most important network for them. But on the flip side of that, if you are not, looking for, teenagers, that's not your demographic, let's say, or anybody under 30, the age group of 55 and up is projected to be the biggest growing user demographic for across social media, including Instagram. That older generation is picking up on Instagram because it really comes back to, I don't want to be left behind, you know. I want to keep up with my kids. I want to keep up with my grandkids. And then they're finding that, you know, there's more people in their age group. There's businesses they want to connect with. So social media does work with a great, you know, huge demographic from, you know, 13 years old up to, you know, 80 plus. But for Instagram, you are going to find more young users, but at the same time, you are going to be able to find your demographic by using targeted hashtags, you know, targeted keywords, and searching for specific people. So, and that's what we want. I don't want a bunch of teenagers who follow me on Instagram because they're not who needs me. They're not who needs my services. So I'm going to maybe only have, you know, maybe only gain a couple new followers, you know, this month maybe. But if they're targeted down and they're high quality, someone who needs me, and that turns into a sale, that's great. I'm happy. So I'm not worried that, you know, somebody over here has 5,000 followers on Instagram. Good for you. How many of those converted to a sale? That's what I want to know. How many of those are high quality leads? So, and I'm sure Heather will agree with me on this, social media is not how many followers you have. It's not how many likes you have. It's not how many connections. It's how many quality people you get to connect with socially. Okay?
Absolutely. Yeah, and like on Instagram, you know, I do have too, like 53% of people that are on Instagram are between the ages of 18 and 29. And I know that seems young, but, you know, those people that are 18 to 29, those are people in our military. Those are people who have 2 kids, and those are people who are married. Those are people who are singles. That's a huge portion of the population. Well, then the next largest number of folks on Instagram is the category of adults ages 30 to 49. That's me. And that's 25% of the population that's on Instagram. So we're talking a lot of people. So again, and then my one main takeaway, I want to make sure everyone who's listening, because social media has a really easy way to be overwhelming and kind of debilitating to say, oh my goodness, we got this, we got Twitter, we got Instagram, I don't know what to do. Do not get overwhelmed and do it all. Say, here's my market. I'm looking for moms that are between the ages of 30 and 50. Where are they? And maybe your answer is Facebook. Maybe your answer is Twitter. And then say, I'm going to take Instagram because I love photography, and I'm going to take Facebook. And I am going to rock those two like I've never rocked any social media before, or find someone to help me do it. And then maybe you'll add something. But you do not have to be on all social media platforms to be effective. That's absolutely not the case.
Absolutely, and Heather hit it right on. You don't have to do them all. There are like 7 big networks that everybody jumps on right away. But really comes back to, what is your demographic? If you're not ready to do Instagram, we'll say, and you can't commit to being consistent, which if you don't have time for it, don't do it, okay? Just focus on the ones you have time for. Okay, I'm going to start with Facebook and LinkedIn, we'll say. We're going to start with those 2. I'm going to get into my flow and my rhythm, and I'm going to make sure I've got the right things, my profiles are complete. And then once I feel really comfortable with what I'm doing, I've got a good system, then I'm going to add in another element. Okay, so now I'm going to grab Twitter, okay, and I'm going to start building that up. And then I'm going to maybe incorporate Instagram and Google Plus and YouTube and Pinterest, and, you know, going even further, I mean, Snapchat and Vine, and there's so many. It can be really overwhelming. Right. That's why people like Heather and I exist, so that we can kind of take that social media monster off your hands. But it comes back to, what are you comfortable doing? You know, is this something that you want to have complete control over, or is this something that you just want to, you know, hand off to somebody? I have my whole business to run. You know, me, Heather, she talked about it earlier on the call. We're solopreneurs. It's just us. We don't have a whole team, you know, but I have a profitable business, and I'm expanding continually. Same with Heather. But that's because we have systems in place. We know exactly what we need to do, and this is the industry that we thrive in. So we work with people like, realtors and independent contractors and small businesses, and I know Heather does too, but large companies as well. I've worked with international companies. It really just depends on what you need. So, and
Well,
what you're willing to do, and what you have time to do.
absolutely, absolutely. Well, Stephanie, as we start to wrap up this call, because we value everybody's time that is here today, we want to make sure everybody knows how to stay connected with us. So we've had a couple opportunities for people to network and get connected. So if you haven't done that, make sure that you take these last couple minutes while you have joined us live on this Hangout. Feel free in the chat box. Make sure you post your Instagram handle and your Twitter handle if you want to connect with other people, and make sure you pay attention to that and get connected with all those people. We would love to be able to see. We have seen Ben, is it Rakana? I hope I did not just butcher your name. Ben, you're awesome. He posted on Twitter a screenshot that included both myself and Stephanie. That's pretty cool. I love that tweet. I'm going to definitely go and retweet that. But we'd love the opportunity. We see all the people who've been using the hashtag. Melanie Red, thank you so much. She types, enjoying customers on social with Heather and Stephanie. Would love to know how to specifically add more positive followers on Instagram. So hopefully you've been able to gather some information that we talked about today in that to be able to apply that for your business, Melanie. Stephanie, how can people stay connected with you?
Okay, so staying connected with me, we have definitely put in, our Twitter and Instagram handles here in the chat. But if you want to stay up with me, you are absolutely welcome to email me anytime. My email address is contact, C-O-N-T-A-C-T, @nissenmedia.net. Okay, and that I have my email right on my phone, and I'm always online. So you're welcome to email me there. And then, of course, I'm on every social network pretty much, but my more active ones are Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Those are my big four that I use a lot. And Google Plus now. It's been on my to-do list this year that I'm going to master Google Plus. Hence the Hangout. So definitely get connected with me on these social networks. Email me. I'm happy to answer any questions. If we didn't really get to what you were looking for on this chat, I mean, there's so much in social media, so you are welcome. Just come and interact with me. Everybody who's posted their Twitter handle, their Instagram handle, I'm going to make sure I'm following all of you, and definitely, start engaging, start being social. So you'll see some retweets and shares and comments from me shortly. And Heather, how do we stay in touch with you?
Well, I would love to stay in connection with everyone that is here on the call. My email address is heather@sweetteasocialmarketing.com. So would love to get some emails from folks. I am on Twitter and Instagram. It's my first and last name together, Heather Heuman. So you can find me on there. You can find me on Facebook under Sweet Tea Social Marketing, and I'm also on Google Plus, and I am also on LinkedIn. So those are the platforms that I love the most, and I'm on Pinterest. Pinterest is fantastic and awesome too. So lots of places to find us, to connect with us. If you have ideas on how you would like us to take this information, that sometimes social media can feel like it's overwhelming, or you can feel like everyone's out there talking and there's all this noise, but how does it apply to you, the small business owner that owns a hair salon in a town with 5,000 people? We would love to connect with you and use this as an opportunity to reach out to us. So as we end the call today, we did let everybody know, and you have to bear with me, I'm going to say call over and over, like we're on the phone, Hangout. I've got to mentally train myself. This is called a Google Hangout. Okay, so anyway, what we wanted to do is what we wanted to highlight. If you do social media yourself and you want to continue to take the tips and the information and the strategy that we share with you to rock it yourself, good job, awesome, fantabulous. If you're interested in more information on maybe someone who could help with you, Stephanie and I both, we own our own businesses, but we're absolutely collaborators, and we would love the opportunity to just kind of reach out to you. So what we did is we each put together like a special offer for anyone who's on this call who may be interested in some of our services. So why don't you go ahead and go, Stephanie, and just kind of share what your special offer was for anyone watching this either live or who may be catching this on YouTube.
Absolutely. So like you said, it applies to anybody who's still watching with us, and I'm so happy you stuck with us to the end, and also for anybody who catches this on YouTube. So one of the things that I offer my clients is a social media audit, which means let's look at what you're already doing, and let's see, what's your status across the board? How active are you? What are you doing? What are you posting? What's your profile look like? And then, kind of collect all that information, and then I'm going to give you some recommendations and actionable steps. Here's what you should be doing. Here's what you're doing. Okay, let's go and do it this way, because this is what's going to work. All right, so that audit is something that I normally offer for $197, and that's for 3 networks of your choice. If you want me to just do Pinterest, LinkedIn, and Instagram, okay, we'll just do those 3. You can pick which ones you want. So I normally offer that, like I said, for $197, but I'm taking $50 off of that, and we'll do it for $147, and again, any 3 networks you want, and what that includes is a complete report back on what I found and what I know you should be doing. And that also includes a 30-minute call with me, one-on-one. We can do it via Skype or, a Hangout if you wanted to, or just on the phone. And I'm going to explain it. I just don't want to hand you a report and go, here you go, figure it out. Because that's not what I'm for. I love to teach, and I love to work with people and kind of see that light bulb go on. So I'm offering that audit report for $147 in that 30-minute strategy call together. If you want to claim that and you decide, yes, I absolutely want that, you can write yes on the Hangout page and include your email address, or you can just send me an email privately at contact@nissenmedia.net, and we can get the conversation going and figure out exactly what you need. So Heather, why don't you tell us about your very cool offer?
Absolutely. Basically, my offer is basically called the Check Us Out package for social media. And ultimately, as I'm a small business owner just like you, and I know what it's like to say, this is my budget for advertising and for marketing, but I want to make sure that you don't think of social media as just this extra that you may consider doing. The idea that it can be so powerful is really just something that I want you to consider a Check Us Out package. Let us at Sweet Tea Social Marketing work with you to really see how you can leverage social media for your business. So what I'm offering is to manage 1 profile for just $147. The normal rate for that is $257, so that's a savings of $110. The social media management includes me managing one of your social media accounts, creating custom visual content to share with your community, and keep the conversation going by engaging with your audience. This Check Us Out package also does include a 30-minute strategy phone call to discuss your goals, your objectives, and the areas of social media growth how I can help you grow. And if you currently are not on social media at all and you're still interested, I'm absolutely going to still honor that same price on someone who doesn't have it but wants to launch and leverage the use of that actual offer. So again, this is Heather Heuman, Sweet Tea Social Marketing. 1 social media profile for a month with $110 savings for you for $147. So if that's something that you're interested in, or if you just have more questions or you're interested in our consulting services, just reach out to us, Heather at sweetteasocialmarketing.com, or you can leave a message on the page with your email address, and we will reach out to you and get connected. So Stephanie, as we're getting ready to close and end this call, I just wanted to thank you again so much for coming and being a part of this call. All of the folks that have been here today throughout the call, what's really cool is our numbers have doubled since we've been on this Hangout, since we got started. So we did not lose anybody. In fact, we've gained more people. So I just want to say this really quickly. I am wearing purple today because I love it and it's my favorite color. So just do something simple and small in your business that makes you feel good and it helps make a difference in the lives of those people around you. People will notice. Stephanie, do you have any closing things that you want to say real quick as we get ready to hang up?
Absolutely. I just want to say I absolutely loved this call. I'm so glad that Heather and I got to do this. And like I said, I got to meet Heather in person at a conference last year, and we have stayed in touch. So the offline connection to the online relationship, and we just kept it going. And I'm so grateful that I got to meet you and to really work through this with you. It's been a fun learning process for us as we really explore all the great technology from social media, specifically Google+. I did want to say a quick thank you to Mary Scott, who just commented, said, great offer, hashtag you are hired, Stephanie, and I'll call you later. So that, that's thrilling to me. So if I can, and we got some tweets back using customers on social saying that people found lots of value in it, and that just warms my heart to be honest with you. So I really appreciate everybody tuning in for this, and I can't wait for the next one that Heather and I do. So stay tuned and stay connected with us so you don't miss the next one.
Thanks so much, everybody. Have a blessed Wednesday. We'll talk with you soon. See ya.